In just 2 weeks, we will be on day 3, the third and final day of the NFL draft. And for those of you going downtown, enjoy the city of Detroit, my city, the Detroit Lions City. Make sure you visit Ford Field while you're around there. It should be an awesome experience. And I hope you have a great time. But in 2 weeks, man, we will be in day 3, the long, arduous day of the NFL draft. But last year, I had an absolute blast, and I can't wait to do it again with you guys this year. With that being said, we will know who the first round, second round, third round. We'll be in round 4, probably 5 right now, somewhere around there. And we'll know who the Detroit Lions are going to take. Our first 4 or 5 picks will be out the way by then, right? So with that being said, we had a conversation yesterday, and I got a lot of pushback in the comment section about me being disappointed in this and that. Believe it or not, the only way I probably would absolutely explode is if we take an offensive lineman in the first round. Outside of that, I'm not really going to go. We're not going to take a quarterback. I don't see us taking a wide receiver. It would be like this: offensive lineman, wide receiver. I mean, those 2 positions. I know Brad is BPA, but I'm gonna say this. Can we say that's really true? And I didn't read all the comments yesterday. Yesterday was an extremely busy day, so I got to go back through them. But I want you to put in the comment section, when we talk about drafting BPA, what are we doing? Is that the first round? Does that apply to just the first round or every round? By the time you get to the 4th round, does BPA still apply? And I think that when we look at Brad Holmes or any general manager, that we're so quick to just go by what he says, but not what he does. All right. If you were going to trade best player available, you're not going to trade back for Jahmyr Gibbs. Or if you're going to draft best player available, you're not going to trade back, right? Unless you think that the best player available will still be there. You don't think anybody between those draft picks is going to be BPA. But I think BPA would mean that you're going to take the best player available at your position. If you trade, are you really taking BPA? I mean, that's just because if you were picking at 6, you could have taken Jahmyr Gibbs. If you thought Jahmyr Gibbs was the best player available at pick 6, you would have taken him. So anyway, that's my little pushback on that, because I just think BPA is overrated. I truly do. Eventually, you're going to have to. You can't just draft all quarterbacks. If we were picking 3rd, or let's say we're picking 2nd, and quarterback is BPA, are we really taking a quarterback? Probably not, right? So anyway, with all that in mind, the Detroit Lions have pick number 29. And this is really when we're going to see what Brad Holmes really likes to do. His entire regime as Detroit Lions general manager, he's picked in the top 10 every single time. 1 pick has been in the top 10. In 2021, it was ours. In 2022, it was ours. In 2023, it was the Rams. So it was 7, 2, and 6. So this is the first time that the Detroit Lions have had their pick be out of the top 10. How crazy is that? So this is when Brad Holmes really does enjoy. We know he enjoys the draft. We know all that stuff. And I think he's really kind of giddy about picking in the later first half of the first round. With that being said, there is a guy that I know a friend of mine is anti-drafting this kid, but I think that there's a lot of guys out there that we can take at this pick. I know a lot of y'all think it's going to be Chop Robinson. I'm sorry, Kool-Aid McKinstry. I'm going to say that I think it's going to be this individual here. You already know he's on the thumbnail. And even though we had that lengthy introduction, and a ESPN analyst, draft analyst, believes it's going to be him as well. This is coming from Matt Miller with ESPN. The Detroit Lions are going to take Darius Robinson, he believes, at the 29th pick. Here's what he had to say. Says, here's your landing spot for Darius Robinson. He's an area scout who crossed paths with the Lions decision makers multiple times this year and has shared conversations with them about team needs. Team needs. Robinson, the versatile defensive lineman from Missouri, is an ideal scheme fit at 6'5", 285 pounds. He played both defensive end and defensive tackle in 2023 while posting 8.5 sacks. And while the Lions have standout players in Aiden Hutchinson and Elaine McNeil on the defensive line, Robinson's power and burst on the edge would be a welcome addition. Now, I know that he has to work on his pass rushing ability, but I was having a conversation with some guys off the air yesterday, and I think that we're in a position where if you took a developmental pass rusher at 29, I mean, what else are you going to do? You could take a cornerback, and here's why I think that we're not going to take a cornerback. Brad Holmes attacked. This is the second year in a row. I'm looking at it as logic, and I know what we have and best player available and all of this and all that. I hear that, right? I get that. And I understand that Brad Holmes is an enigma. However, I'm looking at it from the math standpoint. What have we done the past 2 years in free agency? We have thoroughly attacked the secondary. Safety, cornerback. We've thoroughly, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch, Emmanuel Mosley, Cam Sutton, Carlton Davis, Amik Robertson. We have thoroughly addressed the secondary. Now, some of them has been hits, some have been misses. But what have we lacked in addressing to that extent? If you look at it, and I know Brad has tried to do that with Josh Pascal, Levi Onwuzurike, but there's only so long you can neglect that, right? You have to get somebody there. So this draft may not be like past drafts at the edge rusher position, but we have no choice. That's just my opinion. We didn't do anything in free agency. Marcus Davenport is not it. Matthew Betts has potential. James Houston, who knows what we're going to get out of him? We really don't know. We've got his rookie season. We've got his sophomore season. We don't know what player we're going to get in year 3. So I think that by that logic, and this is just my opinion, I think Brad is, he knows that he has to address the pass rush. And one way or another, I think that one of the first 2 picks will be a pass rusher. It just depends on whether he can trade out. Okay. That's why I don't think it'll be Kool-Aid. I think it's going to be a pass rusher. Then you have Aiden for 3 more years. You'll have this person in the first round for 4 to 5 more years. And then you'll have your 2 cornerstones there to kind of anchor that defensive line, right? Then you got DJ Reader in the middle, whatever becomes a Broderick Martin, who you could take in the undrafted rookie free agents. I mean, then you've got the XFL that'll be ending and all this other stuff, right? So there's a lot of stuff that you can do. And there are still a few there's like 1 or 2 cornerbacks available. I believe that Stephon Gilmore is like the only really decent one left at 33 years old. I think Witherspoon, I believe, signed somewhere else. So that's why I think that we will take a pass rusher. I just think you cannot continue to not properly address it. And put in the comments below if you feel like Brad Holmes has properly addressed the pass rush, or better yet, put it in which between cornerback or secondary, okay, so safety and cornerback and defensive line, do you think Brad Holmes has done a better job addressing? Put that in the comments below. So I think that Darius Robinson is going to be the pick because of his versatility. And that's another thing too that is high on Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell list is versatility. Brian Branch, Swiss Army knife, right? People that you can put in different places, those guys are high. So because Darius could play edge and interior, I mean, at 285, 6'5", that's a big boy. That's a big boy. And the crazy thing is he's 20 pounds heavier than Hutchinson was heading into last season. He's 40 pounds heavier than James Houston was heading into last season. So this guy, and I think above all, and I know a lot of people have pushback on this, and I encourage anybody out here to start a YouTube channel. I will help you the best that I can. I would love to hear your opinion, for you to put it out in front of thousands of people to see and judge and criticize and all that stuff, which is cool. But when we talk about it, it's like I bring this stuff to your attention, but you don't like it because of, I guess, my delivery. And maybe I'm hard to please. Yes, I am. I'm very hard to please. I'm ready for a Super Bowl. I'm enough of this. I'm ready to win consistently. I'm ready to, and I'm not talking about just get there. I'm talking about going all the way just once. Just give me that one time. After that, then maybe I'm not so edgy at that point. But there's nothing left for me. We've seen all the ups and downs. We've been to the almost to the mountaintop. There's no further. We trying to get to the summit. Forget all this stuff, man. Forget all this. We not at base camp. We not halfway up the mountain pitching a tent. We trying to get to the summit, put our flag down, and go down in history, right? The right way. So that's what you hear from me. But what I'll say is this: I am the one that just puts that information out there. And the thing is, when we talk about the Detroit Lions, we're talking about character. We talk about character a lot. It bugs me that the Detroit Lions put character before everything. I'm not saying get a questionable guy with a past and a history and a criminal record. That's not what I'm saying. But that character usurps talent. And sometimes you have to have talent, right? It truly does remind me of Captain Planet. Maybe the Detroit Lions can be the Captain Planet team of the NFL. by our powers combined. I mean, those guys alone are, all of my 80s and 90s baby. Shout out to you guys. One thing I'll say about this is if you go back and you watch Captain Planet, he had to be one of the weakest superheroes of all time. You threw an empty water bottle at him, it hit him in the face, and he was done. The power is yours. So I just don't know if Captain Planet is enough for the Detroit Lions to win a Super Bowl. I mean, it's enough, obviously, to get us almost to a Super Bowl. But right now, the Captain Planet approach has not gotten us to a Super Bowl. So anyway, back to Darius Robinson. I think that Darius Robinson is really the pick. And I think you have all of this talent in the NFL draft. But Darius Robinson is a man of character and grit. And that's who the Detroit Lions, that's the type of player they want. These are not my words. So I don't know who you want. But again, we talked about this last year. And I think it's funny that it's funny to me, but I understand because I'm the face. I'm out in front of it, right? So I'm the one making videos about it. I'm the one who always have an opinion, right? I'm the one that's put it. So I understand. But last year, the pushback on Jalen Carter was insanity. It was insanity. The fact that a lot of you did not care what this man did. You knew that we needed a defensive tackle on the team. You knew our defensive line was trash or suspect. So you wanted Jalen Carter at all costs. That's how I am about a pass rush. That's how I am. So it's just funny to me. Like I had a fit when Jamison Williams, when we traded him, because he was going to be this and that. I knew he wasn't going to be a factor for at least a year, and he wasn't. But I have felt since I've been making videos that our defensive line has always been the weakest part of our team. It's like back and forth. It's secondary. Year one, it was secondary defensive line. Year two, it was probably secondary, right? With a defensive line, a close second. Last year, it was definitely defensive line once everybody started going down. This year, I don't know. I have no idea. Right? So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. We have less than 2 weeks, and then all of this stuff will be over. We'll know who is going to be a Detroit Lion. Shortly after that, we will be going toward, I want to say, minicamp. It's like we're going to have the inside, the dens and all of this stuff, man. I cannot wait. It's going to be fantastic. And before you know it, it's going to be summer, and we'll be talking about training camp, man. And what was kind of unique is what is the training camp tickets going to look like. Last year, I got up at, I think they went on sale at 9 a.m. So I was up at 8 and I was in line. I was like, man, what was I? I think like 700 and something to get tickets to go to training camp. And that season did not disappoint. So after last season and how it ended, I could only imagine what this season is going to look like. So give me your thoughts in the comments below. Who do you want the Detroit Lions to take at 29, either who or what position? And what do you think they are going to do? You guys are awesome. This channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions. I almost got through it unfazed.